morning. My name is Christy Sills. I'm the Knox County Schools College and Career Specialist. I would like to take a minute and welcome you to Day 5 of the Knox County Schools Career Expo. Since most of you are going to be making decisions about your high school schedules very soon, probably this month, we want to take a minute this morning and talk about some of your options for career and technical education, also known as CTE, next year as you begin your high school journey. Joining us this morning is Dr. Keith Wilson, CTE Director for Knox County Schools. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Good morning, Chrissy.
So, I have a few questions for you this morning. What is career and technical education?
Thank you. So, if you've been in school a while now, which you have, you're probably very familiar with classes like English and math, social studies, and science. And probably your elective choices have been mostly around things like art, maybe music, chorus, even some STEM and PE. So those have kind of been your experience in terms of courses. But when you move into high school, there's lots of different electives that are available. So CTE classes fit into those elective choices that you have as part of your high school program, but they're very different probably than any of the classes that you've encountered thus far. CTE programs take you through a series of classes where you're going to learn about valuable careers in a specific business or industry. In these classes, you're going to focus on knowledge that's very specific to what it's like to work or train in that industry, should you decide that's something you're interested in after high school. Every high school student is required to earn 3 credits in what's called an elective focus. So you'll have a choice about kind of an area you want to dive a little bit deeper in. And for many students, CTE is where they make a choice to have their elective focus.
So, why is CTE important to these students?
Well, no matter what you do after high school graduation, eventually you're going to find yourself in a job, and hopefully you're going to find yourself in a career. You know, a career is going to give you opportunities over time to increase the amount of money that you make, maybe to increase your responsibilities, and certainly to continue to learn and grow and increase your knowledge in that area. So while a job may give you a paycheck, a career is going to give you opportunities to continue to move up and to earn greater and do more within that career field. So whether you plan to go to a 4-year university or a 2-year technical program or even straight to work, these CTE classes can help to prepare you for that future career of yours. High school is a great time to be learning more about careers, and just as important as finding something that you like, you may also discover through some of these courses that there's certain areas you don't like. And so when you know what you want to be, or maybe you know I definitely don't want to be something, once you graduate, that can help you save time and money by not pursuing a career field that you already know is not going to be a good match for you. In your CTE classes, you're really going to hopefully experience what it's like to work in those different careers and industries. And you can begin to develop the technical skills that you would need to be successful if you were to start to find an entry-level position in that career. Some of your CTE classes can even begin to allow you to earn college credits or industry-specific certifications and credentials that you could put on a resume and that would help you find a job after high school.
Wow, Keith, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. And having the opportunity to take those CTE classes in high school and get a leg up on internships and building out those particular skills. Could you give us some examples of the types of CTE classes and programs students might see in their high school?
Sure. So we have over 40 different programs of study when you look at the CTE programs offered across the 16 high schools in Knox County. So I'm only going to be able to share obviously a few of those with you, but I wanted to give you a wide range of choices so you can kind of see the different areas it might take you into. So first, I believe we're going to look at the welding program.
Yes.
So with welding, the electives that you would take if you were interested in welding, and again, we're thinking about your high school schedule for next year, you might see a course called Principles of Manufacturing. And Principles of Manufacturing would be that first entry-level course for welding if you were interested in taking that. What you would learn about in Principles of Manufacturing is at an introductory level, you'd learn about all the different careers that you would potentially find yourself in if you wanted to look into a career in manufacturing. So that might be CNC machining. That might be electromechanical technology or industrial maintenance or mechatronics, and then it certainly would include welding as well. So that Principles of Manufacturing class is one of our introductory CTE courses that would give you a broad range experience to learn more about that career field. After that, you might take Welding 1, Welding 2 if you were continuing on in that elective focus. Remember, we talked about having that as a requirement for your graduation. And then that last course is called Manufacturing Practicum. And with many of our CTE courses, at the end, you have the opportunity to either engage in some deeper level projects that you might stay at school and do, where you might be building things that you would sell. Some of our welding programs build trailers, for example, and they construct those and sell those to customers. Or you might actually go out in some of our CTE programs and work for a company and have like a part-time job as part of your experience. So as I said before, the CTE programs are built to help you to really understand what it's like to work or train in that career field. Another important thing I'll point out here with welding is are the types of certifications that you can earn. And as I mentioned, many of our programs allow you to begin to earn either college credits or those industry level and industry specific certifications and credentials. If you take the welding track, you have the potential to earn the American Welding Society, or AWS, entry level welder certification. And if you go far enough into it, even the ability to potentially earn the advanced level welder certification. That can be a very valuable piece on your resume if you were to be interested in, again, continuing to train or moving directly into the workforce, working as a welder once you graduated high school. I think our next example is going to be out of our health sciences, and that's nursing services. So again, I want to show you this pattern. When you look at the electives, if you're signing up for courses next year, that first course you would see would be like Intro to Health Science Education. And that's the first class you would take for any of our health science programs, whether that was nursing or emergency services, sports and human performance. We have a variety of health science programs, and nursing is one of those. So in the Intro to Health Science Ed class, you're going to get an introduction again to careers in the health industry. That would be nursing, or even maybe like pharmacy or dentistry, what it's like to work as a physical therapist or a personal trainer. You're going to touch on all of those different career tracks that are available to you if you're interested in and want to work in the health science industry. Coming out of that class, you're either going to take medical therapeutics, which again starts to help you learn some of those basic skills, taking blood pressures, CPR, that sort of thing. And then also anatomy and physiology, because if you're going to go to work in the health fields, you need to have a good understanding of the human body and of the processes that happen in there. So again, science is a big part of what you need to do, or what you need to be thinking about and studying in if you are interested in working in the health science field. And then last, the fourth course that students would take is nursing education. And nursing education, like the practicum class that I mentioned before, gives students the opportunity to actually go out and work in a clinical setting with patients in a nursing home facility. And during that time, between what they do at school in our labs in the health science classroom, and you see some photos here of students doing that, between that lab time and what they do in the actual nursing home facilities, students are actually able to walk out with a certification as a certified nursing assistant. And that's a certification from the Tennessee State Board of Health, and they can actually go to work directly after high school with that certification. Many of our students do take that and use it to get a job after high school, especially those that are interested in nursing and are going back to school to continue to train to be an LPN or an RN in their future. One other certification, I've already mentioned the CNA certification, is the OSHA 10. And OSHA 10 is just a general industry safety certification. You learn about how to be safe and how to be addressing safety issues in the work environment. And then our last program, so we've seen one that's kind of, I would say, more technical in the welding realm. We've seen nursing as the health sciences, and again, you probably have a lot of familiarity with what a nurse does. Our last program we're going to highlight is the marketing management track. And so we have lots of different business, finance, and marketing courses that are available to students if you're interested in maybe one day managing a business or owning your own business. Those types of courses can maybe be something that you would want to pursue. And what you see here as an example in those photographs is actually some students from South Doyle High School. And as part of their marketing experience, they actually get to run a school coffee shop. And so again, thinking about picking your high school schedule, if you're a student who might be interested in business, marketing, or finance, that first course is pretty much the same for those tracks, Introduction to Business and Marketing. And in that class, again, you're going to learn about the variety of career opportunities that exist, in these different fields, and it'll give you a chance to kind of understand more about what it might mean to work in marketing or in business management or office management. The next course is Marketing Management 1, where you're really going to get into some of those principles. Marketing Management 2, again, remember our courses continue to take you a little bit deeper. So Marketing Management 2 is going to do that as well. And a lot of schools have started to shift to social media marketing and analytics. And if you're a middle school student, about to be a high school student, I know you're familiar with social media, from Instagram to Snapchat to TikTok, all of the different methods that are being used now for companies and people to market themselves. And so social media is a big part of that. And lots of our high schools have started to adopt that course as part of what they're studying. And then even at the end, there's event planning. So a class that you can be a part of where they'll actually use what they've learned in marketing to promote events, to plan events that the school's holding, or maybe with other partners that are working with the school. So we've seen a couple of examples through nursing and welding where you have certifications from industry that can be great resume builders for you at the end. In this class sequence, we see college credits being an opportunity that you can earn. So one way you do that, it can be through a CLEP exam. And so we offer through our program in marketing the Principles of Marketing college level equivalency test. And so after you finish your Marketing 2 course, I believe it is, you can actually sit for that exam. And if you pass it, at many universities, you can have a credit for the introductory level marketing course that they offer on their campus. And then we also, because we partner with Pellissippi State in a variety of ways, we have dual enrollment and dual credit agreements with Pellissippi State that can allow students to earn college credits in the business and marketing realm as well.
Keith, thank you for highlighting a few examples across schools from across the difference and highlighting the different programs. I know this week we've been broadcasting from Carnes High School, and I believe you wanted to show a short video about Carnes High School?
Yeah, I think that showing this video is a good way for students to see sort of what's happening at one school. Because as I've shared those examples, you know, every high school is going to be different. So I know we've got 8th graders tuning in from a variety of middle schools, and where they go next year for high school will kind of help determine what's going to be available to them. So we've been here at Carnes all week, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to sort of showcase one high school and the variety of programs that are available to students if they're interested in CTE.
Great. Let's take a look at that.
If you like to be creative, if you want to develop real-world skills, if you are ready to pursue your passions in a hands-on environment, Carnes High School's CTE programs have something for you. Master the essential skills to prepare you for an in-demand career in advanced manufacturing with our Principles of Manufacturing and Electromechanical courses. Spark the torch and experience the craft of welding and earn an AWS certification. Understand the important role that agricultural science and technology plays in the 21st century in agri-science. In structural systems, learn the carpentry skills and tools needed to land a job in the skilled trades industry. What happens when you flip the switch? Find out in electrical systems. Have a leaky pipe? Learn to fix it in plumbing systems. Even if you just want to be able to maintain the plumbing in your own home, this course is for you. Learn about the systems that keep us cool in the summer and warm in the winter while earning your EPA certification in our HVAC course. Become the next YouTube star in the AV production program as you learn to complete all the phases of the production process in a hands-on environment. Educate and spark the curiosity of the future in early childhood education. Work alongside educators in a preschool classroom, compile a professional portfolio, and graduate prepared for further training at the post-secondary level. Cosmetology, the place to learn new techniques and styling, clock hours in the salon, and work toward earning your license. The Principles of Fire and Emergency Services program offers students first-hand experience of firefighting skills with instruction by professional fire and rescue personnel. Get to work under the hood, learn in our TCAT Diesel Technology Dual Enrollment program, and drive right into a job in the auto industry. The Air Force Junior ROTC program is designed to develop citizens of character dedicated to serving their nation and community through a comprehensive course of academic studies, leadership education, and physical training. Get to work in our business management and administration classes like Introduction to Business and Marketing, Business Communications, Accounting, Banking and Finance, and Computer Applications. Prepare for in-demand careers in our health science programs like health science education, pharmacy science, medical therapeutics, nursing services, and rehabilitation careers. Looking to improve your culinary skills? We have the recipe for success in our culinary arts program. Learn the skills to pursue your passion while gaining experience working in a commercial kitchen. Some of the CTE courses offer practicums and internships to get right to work or prepare you for life after graduation. Follow your passion in a program created just for you with our CTE programs here at Karns High School.
So as CTE director, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that out of all those great programs you see at Karns High School, many of those are available as part of the Karns Extension Campus at Byington-Solway. So students actually at Hardin Valley Academy next year and also at Powell High School as well as Karns all have access to several of those programs. So I would encourage students, if you saw something you liked, if you're currently planning to go to Hardin Valley Academy next year or going to Powell High School next year, those are courses you may be able to take, and you should talk to your counselor about that. A couple of programs that we saw on there, Christy, I think I also want to take a second just to recognize, because we've been here broadcasting from Karns all week, and one of the programs that was pointed out was Mr. Wade's audiovisual productions class, and they've been a great group to work with this week, doing a lot of work behind the scenes between the actual production, the camera work, the video editing. We've had the opportunity to have one of our partners, Springboard, here on site all week, working closely with Mr. Wade and his students, and we just can't thank them enough for being able to help us put this together and make this opportunity come to reality for our 8th grade students to be able to hear from all of these different parties. And then another program I would highlight is Mr. Jake Neblett's Culinary Arts program. We saw on the video some footage of students working in the kitchen there, and studying and learning about food production and about how to work in the hospitality industry. And so all week long, they've kept us with plenty of coffee and provided our lunches, and I don't think anybody has gone hungry this week. So we want to say a big thank you to Mr. Jake Neblett and his students for all the work and the catering that they've done for the behind-the-scenes staff at the Career Expo.
Yes, we are so grateful for all the work behind the scenes that it has taken to pull this event off. As we think about CTE programs, Keith, what can students do to learn more about CTE options?
Well, I think the first thing I would suggest is to talk with your school counselors. I know that, again, you guys are making decisions very soon about the classes that you're going to be taking next year, and a lot of the times that work happens at your middle school or potentially with high school counselors coming over. So they're a great resource to help you think about which classes might be a good fit for you, and can help you understand more about all those different electives that you're probably going to see on those scheduling sheets. As I mentioned, if you've been used to, your choices being art, music, and PE, the world's about to open up for you in terms of electives. So sometimes it's helpful to talk with someone about that, and a counselor is a great place to start. Another thing I would suggest, and you've probably heard about that a few times this week and hopefully had a chance to complete it already, but your U Science profile is a great thing to look at and to consider as you're thinking about classes you might want to take in high school. If you're already seeing through your U Science profile that there are certain career clusters or certain industries that maybe you're showing more interest in, and more importantly, showing aptitude, showing that you might have a talent for that industry, that would be a great thing to consider as you think about some of those introductory CTE courses that you might want to take. I mentioned earlier that you'll have that elective focus where you're going to choose a track and take 3 classes within a program or within a series that you're going to have that for graduation, but you don't necessarily have to make that decision in your freshman year. So when you're thinking about those introductory CTE classes, that's a great place to try something out and see if it's going to be a good fit for you. Sometimes you may find a teacher or someone that you really like, and you may want to continue on for that reason. And all of those are good decisions that you have to consider. but those introductory CTE classes can be a great place to just start to explore, and your U-Science profile can kind of help you hone in on maybe what might be a great area for you to think about. I would encourage you too to discuss with your parents. A lot of the decisions we make at the next level for high school, again, can start to prop us up to think about future plans for college and certainly future plans for career. So talk about that with your parents. Sometimes what we know about careers can be limited by who we've been around and what our parents do, or what our grandparents do, or a friend or a neighbor. So we become familiar with careers a lot of times based on the people that we know. So if you're thinking about other areas or want to learn more, maybe talk with your parents about careers and again, how that might match back up to the CTE classes that your high school offers. You can always go to Knox County Schools high school websites and explore a little bit to see what types of teachers are there and what programs they offer. I would say you're probably going to see a lot of information coming from the high school in addition, as we think about scheduling to help you kind of know what programs are going to be available. And then, of course, we've had these sessions being recorded all week, and they're going to be available after this event is over through the Knox Education Foundation website, and then also available on the Knox County Schools YouTube channel under the Career Expo playlist. So we've been able to feature several CTE programs this week, from agriculture to architectural design and engineering, advanced manufacturing in the area of welding, and even information technology, specifically with Mr. Cathcart, a cybersecurity teacher at Bearden. So we've had embedded this week several focus points on CTE programming, as well as a great bunch of industry partners talking about other areas as well. So I would encourage you to go back and explore more and look more at what we've created this week. If you haven't had a chance to see all of those are great informational opportunities for you to look at as well.
So just remember, you don't have to decide what you want to do right now. These classes and experiences help set you up for high school and can help you focus in on things that are a good fit or what might be a bad fit, and can help make decisions easier for the future as you think about continuing high school or moving on in an educational path to a community college, a four-year university, going to a technical school, or entering the workforce. Now, Keith, we do have a few questions from our audience this morning. And so the first question is, what does Welding 1 and Welding 2 entail?
What does Welding 1 and Welding 2 entail? Well, you're going to start to learn the basic principles of welding. If you want to get down to like the basics of it, welding is just the processes that are used to build things out of metal, also to cut metal apart. So you're going to learn skills with torches. You're going to learn the different types of welding techniques, MIG, TIG, and stick, which probably mean about as much to you right now as they do to me, but I know what they're called. But the basic principles of welding, and again, like I said, the ability to hopefully sit for that entry-level certification. But very similar content as an introduction to what you might learn in a technical program if you were to go to a TCAD or a Pellissippi welding program. If you're starting from nothing, it'd be very similar kind of introduction to that material.
Great, thank you for that. Another question that we have in the chat feature is, are therapists included in the health science profession or category?
Actually, they are, and so when we think about therapists, there's different fields in therapy. Obviously, there's occupational therapy, which is more rehabilitative for people who maybe have handicapping conditions, and then you have physical therapy when you think about maybe like sports injuries and things like that. So we actually have programs where students can learn about physical therapy through their therapeutic services program. If you're getting more into like I say sports medicine, we have a sport and human performance program that students can take a course called Rehab Careers and can learn more about physical therapy as a profession.
Oh, neat. Well, one student would like to know, can you take multiple CTE courses, for instance, health science and marketing at the same time?
And the answer to that is yes. We actually have a lot of students who will sample and take different electives out of the track. As I mentioned, the goal and what you'll be required to do as a high school student is to make a selection where you do get those 3 credits in an area, often a CTE area, but it could be other areas as well. So while it is okay to try out different things, and we would certainly encourage you to explore, at the end of the day, usually a student will kind of dive deep in one area, but they might, take a sampling. My daughter's a great example. She was her elective focus was in a health science track, but she's had a marketing class, and she's had a class out of office management, and she's had, she sampled several different areas. So that's not uncommon.
Isn't she in the dual enrollment gross anatomy course as well?
She is. She currently takes a dual enrollment course with LMU, and actually gets to go there and work on LMU's campus 1 day a week with in the cadaver lab, where they actually look at human donor specimens as they learn about the human body.
I can tell you that class is not for me, but what are some of the classes that you would take if I wanted to go into early childhood education? That's another question in the chat feature.
Well, I'll point out that early childhood education is only offered at the one school, and that's here at Karns. But as I mentioned before, that would be accessible to students if you were going to be in high school next year at Powell, Hardin Valley, or at Karns High School. But early childhood education is going to prepare you to work in the child care industry, thinking about pre-K teachers, if you're interested in that. The program here at Karns, which is, again, our only one, they actually facilitate and run a daycare where they bring students in. If you may have seen that clip on the video of the young kids coming in, they're on campus here 2 or 3 days a week. And the high school students get to help with the preschool instruction. Of course, they have snack time and all the things that go with preschool. So they're preparing food and doing a lot of that. But Miss Irwin does a great job both with the little kids and with her kids in preparing them to work in the child care industry.
Thank you. We have time just for a few more questions.
Okay.
So in thinking about my particular high school, how do I know what programs are available related to CTE at my high school? And do all high schools offer the same programs?
That's a great question. So the first one, again, to learn more, if you're interested in knowing what your high school offers, I would suggest, again, starting with your counselors at your middle school, and then hopefully potentially with your counselors at the high school, as you guys are making decisions around scheduling. I know there'll be a lot of communication and a lot of opportunity to look at like course listings and things like that. So that's probably a great place to look. As I mentioned before, the high school websites, you may be able to find more information at your high school's website about the CTE programs that they offer there. The question about does every high school offer the same programs? And the answer to that is no. As we showed you the video for Karns, you're able to see really one high school is offering, but those do differ from school to school, and a lot of things impact that. So the size of the school, for example, will determine how many different teaching and staffing positions we have, and so that can impact the number of programs that are available to students. So a smaller high school, typically, it's likely that there's going to be fewer class options in electives when you start to look at that than a larger high school where they've got more teaching staff and more ability to fit those courses into their schedule. So the number of programs certainly will vary from school to school, and again, often reflects the size. And then as far as the type of programs, I mentioned like we've got things like early childhood education here at Karns, and that's the only place in the district we have that program. Whereas you could look at our health science programs, you saw nursing, we've talked about some others. We have health science programs in 13 of our 16 high schools. So that's a very common program that you would find across the district, as well as the business and marketing courses. Those are very common across the district. So the construction trades and the welding courses, things like that require that kind of space and lab environment. Again, that can sometimes be dictated by the school and what they're able to offer within the space of the building that they have. So there's a lot of reasons why the programs look different from school to school. What we are trying to work towards and have tried to work towards over the past few years is just to make sure that we have the right sample of CTE courses so that no matter where you go to high school, you're going to have the opportunity to get in there and have that exposure to a course that's getting you thinking about your life after high school and about careers and about what it's like to train and work in any industry. And so that's really the goal we work towards when we think about programming across all the high schools.
Thank you, Keith. We certainly appreciate you providing an overview of the CTE programs here in Knox County Schools. As we get ready to conclude this session, I would like to take a minute and thank Mr. John Valentine for creating flyers and posters and taking pictures throughout this event, as well as his students in the Knox County Quest program. We have special guest speakers leading content sessions all this week, such as Resource MFG, Discovery, the CTE Department, and Junior Achievement of East Tennessee. We also appreciate Sandra Blunt's social media class, helping support Instagram and Facebook stories. A couple of more. The Knox County Schools supervisors and departments that have pitched in behind the scenes to help moderate the chat and also to be a part of taking care of any technical difficulties. And lastly, our sponsors. We couldn't have done this without you. Our presenting sponsor, Pellissippi State Community College, our partnering sponsors, Knoxville Chamber and Knox Education Foundation, Junior Achievement of East Tennessee, and our industry sector sponsors, and over 40 virtual exhibit booth sponsors in the Six Connects virtual environment. Again, thank you for joining in to today's session. Have a good day.